Now, I doubt if Mr. Owen knows that because he's probably never been out of the country except to go to Washington, D.C. and then back to New York. But I've lived in Japan. I've been to France, I've been to Germany, and I've been to Great Britain. They also have a long, long history of tradition, of respect for the elders and their peers. Something that's being quickly eroded from this country. In this country, we are exposed to hour after hour after hour of violence. If you take a small child and raise him in that environment, or her, they begin to believe that that is the way that their problems should be solved, and that is the way that the world conducts its business. The truth, as we all know, is quite different. We also know, ladies and gentlemen, that the statistics tell a quite different story than what this man, Mr. Owens, is propounding to his fellow congressmen.
And that is a convenient place to cut off tonight's broadcast, I think. But you know what? Looking at the tape machine, I was going to take calls, but looking at the tape machine, I see that we can't do this because I screwed up once again. So that means I have to retape what has transpired since the tape stopped, and I can't do that and add on calls and still have them on the tape. So we'll continue, and maybe we'll take calls tomorrow night.
He goes on to say that these societies are able and willing to control the manufacture, distribution, and sale of guns, and this society is not. That's true, folks. In Japan, Germany, Great Britain, and France, none of the law-abiding citizens have weapons, except in some instances hunting weapons, shotguns, small caliber rifles, which are registered and are strictly controlled. But the criminals, you see, have every type of gun that you can imagine. And they always will. And that, dear sheeple, is the truth. He goes on to say the savage, barbaric behavior of a young man who whips out a pistol and shoots dead 2 students in a high school is horrendous.
What's happening here, folks, is this broadcast was made in 1994. In fact, all of the information you've been hearing in this series was originally broadcast in 1994. I had a tremendous cold at this particular time, and when the pot goes down, if you listen very carefully, you hear me coughing in the background. And so that's what the pauses are all about. I was coughing and then coming back on and trying to talk with the phlegm in my throat, and it sounds terrible, and it was, and that's why this sounds like such a strange tape. But anyway, that's what was going on, and please don't discount the information because of the interludes that seem to be inappropriate. It's because I had these coughing fits, and there was absolutely nothing I could do about it.
These pauses are caused, folks, because I'm having a problem with the irrepressible urge to cough. Don't go away. We're going to take a little break.
That does it for tonight, folks. There's no use going on with that because it goes on for a couple more minutes, and in 1 minute or 2 minutes, we're going to be out of time. I hope sincerely that you have been learning that which you have not known. I hope that once you have learned it, you will begin to share it with your acquaintances, your neighbors, your family, your friends, and you will understand how this nation has been subverted from within. Joseph McCarthy was right. He was right. So was Nikita Khrushchev. He banged his shoe on the desk at the United Nations and proclaimed loudly that the Soviet Union did not have to invade the United States. They would destroy us from within. And they have certainly done that. They're continuing to do it. You always seem to be looking for some enemy outside this country that's done all of this to us. It's not true. If you want to know how it's happened, if you want to know who has done it, go in your bathroom, look in the mirror, and then wake up. Stop being ignorant. Stop being apathetic. Stop being stupid. A friend of mine was performing a service for an elderly woman here in the Round Valley recently. She looked at him, asked him if he was a member of the Church of Latter-day Saints of Jesus Christ. He said, no. She said, what's the matter with you, boy? Why don't you get with the program? He looked at her and he said, you know, the last time that I looked, this was a free country. And I'm entitled to the freedom of religion, and so are you. I'm willing to die to make sure that you have that freedom. Why aren't you willing to die to make sure that I have the same freedom? Well, she turned red in the face. She walked into the other room, came back with $1 and threw it at him. The dollar fell on the floor. It was an insult because he was not a member of the Mormon Church. Yet he is a person who believes 100% on all of the principles and ideals which made this country the greatest nation on earth, which allowed the Mormon Church to exist. And now this woman is persecuting others because they do not belong to her church. That's wrong. There's a prophecy in the Mormon Church that when the Constitution for the United States of America is hanging by a thread, the Mormon Church will save it. You know, I listen to that, and I hear Mormons tell me that. Good Mormons, people whom I admire and trust and respect. And I almost have to burst out laughing because the Constitution is not hanging by a thread, it's gone. My question is this: where is the Mormon Church? And why is it that all these good people who happen to belong to the Mormon Church aren't doing something about this? Has the Mormon Church sold out to the New World Order along with a lot of other churches? I'd like to have an answer to that question. I'd also like to have a rebirth of freedom and an end to religious persecution. Seems to me a church that had existed so long in its history under persecution would learn not to be guilty of persecuting others because of their freedom of choice of their religious beliefs. I'd like to see that end right now, you dumb, stupid, ignorant jerks. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. And I'm talking to all religions when I say that. Every single one that exists on the face of this earth, stop it. Haven't enough people died in the name of religion?
You are on the planet, WBCQ, in the spectrum at 7415 kilohertz. This is WBCQ.